Hello again, Guardians, and welcome back to the channel for another Destiny episode. Now, before we get started, I am back from Guardian Con in Tampa Bay, Florida. It was an amazing time there. I'm going to be posting up a Guardian Con video covering all the details and the excitement from this week, and that will be a video probably tomorrow or later tonight. So if you can check out that video, give it a thumbs up, and also leave some comments down below. Greatly appreciate it. To get into this video, we are going over the vendor weekly reset and all of the armor and weapon pieces I think you should take a look at. Alongside this though, every single week I like to do a giveaway for my subscribers, and I'm giving away 3 copies of Destiny 2. If you're interested in any of those giveaways you'd like to enter, the details are on the screen now. Pause the video, read the instructions, and enter in for the giveaways. Now, last week I was doing giveaways as well, like any other week, and we are in the hot seat, and that means I have to announce the winner. So congratulations goes to Reichling Hammer. I think I'm pronouncing that right. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, sorry. It is on the screen, so please message me back to the reply I sent you on YouTube, DM me on Twitter, and I'll do a third verification process to prove that you are the owner of the YouTube channel. And congratulations, I'll give you your prize. Now, to get into this video, we are going over the rewards, the hot seat stuff. We are going over all of the vendor roles, all the stuff that we need to buy. Let's go. Very first thing, Lakshmi. Lakshmi has a pretty interesting waltz that might have some fun use. It's got rodeo, it's got small bore, and it's got extended mag. It's also got the quick draw IS or the OAG. I'd actually opt in for that quick draw IS for the increased reload speed, and then you can increase the magazine, but you're going to reduce the magazine back down to the original number of shots by using small bore. But you do get the increased range and stability, which is great. These two work hand in hand together. Then you've got rodeo, reduces the severity of the weapon's recoil, which is also good for a pulse rifle. So it might actually be pretty fun to take a look at. I know I'm probably going to buy it and test it out. Moving on to the next one, I actually kind of liked the Wounded. The Wounded is a pretty good standard scout rifle, and this one's got Zen Moment, it's got Hammer Forged, it's got Outlaw, it's got armor piercing rounds, and it's got full auto. Depending on which one you like the most, you can opt in for the full auto option or the armor piercing rounds, but the two that I would really opt in for is the Hammer Forged with the Zen Moment, and then running ranged lens RLR5. I also like and prefer the OAG rifle scope, but when both of these options are available, I normally go for the ranged lens. Moving on down, we are going to move over to the Wormwood. The Wormwood is actually pretty awesome this week. It's got Hidden Hand, it's got Zen Moment, and it's got armor piercing rounds or hip fire. Now, I've never actually used the Wormwood with hip fire, and I kind of feel like with Zen Moment and Hidden Hand, the hip fire would actually be insane. I actually feel like this would be a pretty decent sidearm to use. And then I would probably run the Sure Shot IS just because I'm an asshole. But yeah, that's exactly what I'd be purchasing. So this week I'm going to try to grind for all those legendary marks, and I'm definitely going to pick up this Wormwood as well, because the Wormwood I have isn't the god roll that everybody loved, and I kind of need a new one. I've been using that Havoc Pigeon an awful lot, and that Trespasser. But moving on down, we have to go to speak to our good old friend Ronnie. We're going to talk to him next because he's got a lot of stuff to take a look at. Very first thing is going to be the Continental. The Continental for this week is a really nice rolled Suros, basically. It's legendary Suros. It's got the focused fire, it's got the hip fire, it's got perfect balance, it's got a appended magazine, and it's got persistence. Now, you could honestly run any of these perks on this gun and it would work pretty well. It's whichever one you feel the most comfortable with. Persistence and perfect balance with the hip fire or the focused fire are really good options. But you can always swap out that perfect balance for the appended magazine if you want an increased magazine to kind of run it like the Necrochasm. So basically, run it like the Necrochasm or run it like the Suros Regime. Doesn't really matter. Whichever one you like is really what you're going to get. And you've got the quick draw IS for that quick reload speed, or you can use the OAG rifle scope for more range. It's really whatever you prefer. Moving on down though, we also have a really interesting Parthian shot that I wanted to take a look at. It's got the class half full, it's got small bore, and it's got outlaw. And I feel like that'd be a pretty interesting roll. It's not a god roll by any means, but it's still going to be a pretty interesting roll to use, especially when you're using Sure Shot. Now, to move on to the really good stuff, we're going to take a look at this Angel's Advocate. I really like the Angel's Advocate. It's got Hidden Hand, it's got small bore, and it's got Zen Moment. It's also got Who's Next if you really want to use that. It's got Ranged Lens RLS3, which is my favorite ranged lens option for the scout rifles. And it's also got Reflex if you really just don't like a scope. Now, Zen Moment with the small bore with the hidden hand, this is going to be a really accurate piece of work, but I will have to tell you and warn you, you are lowering the magazine size, so make every shot count. Now, if you're using Zen Moment with the hidden hand and you're also using small bore, you shouldn't have a problem aiming for headshots, but remember, you've got less ammo in the magazine, so watch out for it. I believe it drops it down to 10 or 11 rounds in the magazine, which isn't too bad, but it's still a pretty decent drop from 14 rounds. Moving on down to the next one, we've also got, I believe, yep, Teacup Tempest was a pretty good one. It had reactive reload, it had casket mag and outlaw and cascade. I love using the Teacup Tempest, getting really up close and personal with someone with my warlock and using the melee to reload it. I love cascade. I'm not too sure why, but I'm probably one of the few people to run cascade on almost all of my sidearms. Now, I've also got Sure Shot IS to take a look at. And moving on, we've also got the Seventh Sense. This one is really good, to be fair. It's actually a really decent sniper rifle. It's got hidden hand, it's got the snapshot, it's got triple tap, and it's got short gaze. So that's basically everything you'd like to have on a sniper rifle. And just honestly, it does work. I had the Seventh Sense with most of this except for minus the snapshot, and it worked really well. So I cannot wait to use it for the snapshot. This is going to be a really awesome roll to get for this week. Moving on down to the next stuff, we're got to go over to the Dead Orbit, and that will basically end this video. Now, Dead Orbit is going to have some decent stuff. First off is the Worlds to Come. I just want you guys to take a look at this fusion rifle for a second. This is what you want for a fusion rifle. Hidden hand, hammer forged, enhanced battery, spray and play, hip fire, red dot aura, and OEG. This is going to be a pretty decent roll. It's got the increase to range, it's got hidden hand, it's got hip fire and enhanced battery, whichever one you prefer, but really this thing is going to do some work. I actually am excited to get this, especially since I haven't seen a good roll for the Dead Orbit fusion rifle in a very long time. Next up is the Extremophile. This one's going to be persistence, perfect balance, and high caliber rounds. Not a bad roll at all, especially if you're going to be running it with the Steady Hand IS. You can also opt in for OEG, but it's not really going to change much. I really like Steady Hand IS on the Extremophile. And then the final thing to really take a look at is going to be the Keystone. Keystone is a really good scout rifle across the board, but this one is going to have Zen Moment, hammer forged, unflinching, and explosive rounds. Basically a really good PvE roll. So if you need something that's a long range for a strike, nightfall, or the raids, really good option right here for the Keystone 01 for this week. And that's all the weapons, guys. We're not going over to the Crucible, we're not going over to the New Monarchy. All those weapons actually aren't pretty good. If you found any weapons that worked really well, let me know down in the comment section, but those are the ones that I pick. Now let's move over to DIM Destiny Item Manager, and we're going to take a look at all the armor pieces for this week. Okay, Guardians, so now we're in DIM Destiny Item Manager. It's a Google Chrome extension that you can download to your web browser, and it's free. It's no cost at all, but there's a lot of backers supporting the page. So with this, I'd like to go in and check out all the vendor rolls for the armor pieces at least 98% to 100% max stat rolls. So let's begin. First off, Iron Banner is beautiful this week. Iron Banner is going to have 99% to 100% max stat rolls across the board for all the armor pieces. I'll take a look really quick for you all, but honestly, it's ridiculous. First off, the Iron Saga Gloves is going to be an intellect and discipline roll at 99%. Another one is going to be the discipline and strength roll at 99%. Then we've got a chest piece at 99% for intellect and discipline. We've also got 100% stat roll for the chest piece at discipline and strength. Then we also have for the Iron Saga grips, this is going to be a 99%, and that's going to be intellect and discipline. We're going to have another 99% for that hunter, and that's going to be discipline and strength. Then we've got a 98% chest piece for the hunter, and that will be intellect and discipline. We've got a 100% chest piece for the hunter, and that will be discipline and strength. Then moving on to the Titan, we've got the gauntlets, and that will be a 99% stat roll at intellect and discipline, and then a 100% stat roll at discipline and strength. Then we're going to have a 99% chess piece for that Titan, and that's going to be Intellect and Discipline. And then we're going to have a 100% stat roll for Discipline and Strength. So if you need to get all the way up to a tier 12 build, the Iron Banner is definitely an option for you to go and buy some really nice armor. Moving on down, the Vanguard Scout isn't going to have anything of any use. Then we've got the Titan Vanguard having a 100% stat roll for the Ghost Shell. That will be Intellect and Discipline. If you're looking for Intellect and Discipline, that's where you need to get your Ghost. Then we've got the Hunter Vanguard running a 98% Boots for the Hunter, and that's going to be Intellect and Discipline. Then we've got the Warlock Vanguard running a 98% Ghost Shell. We've already given you a 100% stat roll, but this one is going to be Intellect and Discipline as well for 98%. Moving on down to the Vanguard Quartermaster All Weapons. Eris Morn, nothing of any importance. House Judgment is going to have a 98% Warlock bond at Intellect and Strength if you need something along those lines. Then we've got Future War Cult running a 98% Gloves. That will be Intellect and Discipline. Then we've also got a Ghost Shell at 100% roll from the Future War Cult. And that, I believe, is going to be Intellect. Yep, Intellect and Discipline. Then we've got Dead Orbit. Moving on down for the Warlock bond at 98% roll, Intellect and Discipline. Then we've got a 99% chest piece for the Titan from Dead Orbit. And that's going to be Intellect and Strength. Then, moving on down to the New Monarchy, we've got a Ghost Shell at 98%, and that will be Intellect and Discipline. Then, moving on down even further to the Crucible Handler, we've got a 98% Warlock bond for Intellect and Strength. We've got a, I believe, nope, nothing else. Okay, so we're moving on down even further, and we have nothing from the Cryptarch from the Iron Temple, no Iron Lord artifacts of any use. Then, moving on down to the final person, the Speaker himself. This is going to have a 98% Cloak, Intellect and Strength, a 100% Titan Mark, Intellect and Strength. Then, we've got a 98% Cloak again. That will be Intellect and Discipline. And that is all of the stuff. There you have it, Guardians. I have to give a huge shout out to Dim, Destiny Item Manager. I also have to give a huge shout out for the patrons on the channel located on the screen now. If you want to become a patron, the link is in the description of this video and also in the header of my YouTube channel. So you can just click on that little logo and become a patron. It's also got some really awesome rewards. But there you have it, Guardians. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. Make sure to press that subscribe button if you're new for future Destiny content in the future. Daily Destiny content, by the way. And also, hit that little bell, turn on notifications to be notified when I go live, upload a new video, or I upload on Twitch. There you have it. That's all, Guardians. Thank you all for watching. Stay violent. Be privileged.
Oh, hi. VPG isn't here right now, but I guess you enjoyed the content. So over there's the logo you can click on. That will allow you to subscribe. More content up there, and behind the scenes daily content over here on the vlog channel. There you go. Enjoy!